to go a little bit more in depth with carbon fee and dividend, the idea is to place a price on carbon at the source, either the mine, the port of entry, or the well, because right now it is the public and the taxpayers that are paying for this externality of climate change consequences and adverse health effects. And we need to be putting a price on carbon so that we can transition to a clean energy economy. The idea is to start out at a $15 a ton and gradually increase this fee by $10 a ton each year. So this way it sends a signal to the market that fossil fuel and carbon-based energy will become more expensive over time, and that businesses and companies can invest in research and development and implementation of renewable energy and carbon-free technology. And the important part of the dividend is that it makes it so the policy can be bipartisan. It's not a tax, so Republicans could, in theory, support it and not break their pledge to raise taxes. And it's also important because it protects middle and lower income families from rising energy costs by getting the fee distributed back to them on a monthly basis equally to each American household. The public will be able to afford the increased cost of consumable goods as the cost of energy rises. And they're also incentivized to choose products that are made with renewable energy because those products will be cheaper. So what I love about Citizens Climate Lobby, and again, I co-lead the New York City chapter, and I encourage everyone here to get involved with our group. Robert, who is our outreach and presentation leader, is in the back, and he will, he's raising his hand for anyone who wants to see. He will be signing people up, so I encourage you to go speak with him during a break or afterwards. So what I love about Citizens Climate Lobby is that we work and train people to go and speak with their elected officials about carbon fee and dividend and climate policy. Democracy is not a spectator sport. We can't just vote once every 4 years and expect our government to work for us. We really work to engage people in living democracy and becoming engaged and active citizens. And to me, the most powerful and inspiring thing is when I see people gain their own personal and political power. So actually this coming week, we are going to meet with Senator Schumer's office in the New York City district. We have about 9 of us from our chapter going, and then the next week after that, we are going up to Representative Serrano's office in the Bronx to talk about carbon fee and dividend policy. So we are a very active chapter. We probably have about 50 people who are part of our regular group. We go and meet with our members of Congress down in DC. We meet with them in district here. We do outreach and presentation events such as this, coming to speak with the public. We have a media committee. We have a state action committee. And it's really wonderful to see people getting involved. And I invite and encourage you to all find your local chapter of Citizens Climate Lobby. Thank you for your time.
All right, I'm going to finish up by talking about the federal lawsuit that many of you may have heard of called Juliana versus United States. It's just funded by the organization called Our Children's Trust. In this case, in which I am one of the plaintiffs, our fundamental argument is that young people are guaranteed equal rights and equal protection under the law, similar to civil rights cases. We talk about the public trust argument, and we argue that our constitutional right to life, liberty, and property is violated when the government approves of the mining of fossil fuels and emissions of fatally high levels of CO2 into the air, despite being aware of its damaging effects. I strongly encourage you to go to ourchildrenstrust.org and learn more about the case and support us and Citizens Climate Lobby. There are different things that you can do depending on how much time you decide to put in. On our website, there is a petition that you can sign, but actions, of course, speak louder than words, and we rather see you tagging us or reposting our things on social media, keeping the movement going, rather than seeing your name on a list. So with our social media and website, you can keep up to date on day-to-day events which you can participate in and voice your support. For example, on February 5th, if you've been following the case, that was our original trial date, which had been postponed. There was a social media movement called Rather Be in Court, and people across the country voiced their disapproval and outrage that we weren't in court as planned, and this not only helped everyone within the suit stay motivated, but it brought a lot of attention to the case, and it empowered a lot of supporters, which is the kind of energy we're trying to gather up across the country right now. Because even with the lawsuits and rules and proper regulations, no civil rights issue has ever been solved without the pressure of the people to move it forward. So that's where your efforts should be spent, I think. And if you have the most time, I think the best thing that you can do is join your local chapter of Citizens Climate Lobby. And if you're connecting with everything that we've talked about today and it's really touching you, you will fit in perfectly with them and you'll be the most progressive there, in my opinion. Thank you.